We are out this morning in Frisco. It's our Musers Salute to the Metroplex. We're at a different spot each morning around Dallas and Fort Worth this week. And we're at Toyota Stadium this morning, the home of FC Dallas. And joining us here in the press box is the coach for FC Dallas. He played for FC Dallas back in the late 90s and early aughts. He is from Colombia. He played on the Colombian national team. And it's Oscar Pareja we welcome to the program. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Morning.
It's an honor to have you here at the Toyota Stadium, and I know there is a lot of followers, and so it's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We figured this would be a good spot the day after the World Cup. And you've played international soccer for Colombia, a South American country. Soccer is just off the charts popular in Colombia. And so since you are South American, were you rooting for Argentina, or since that's a rival South American country, who were you rooting for in the World Cup yesterday?
Well, after or in that stage, I was rooting for the best team, and despite of knowing that Argentina belongs to South American soccer, I thought the Germans show a great World Cup, and then they deserve it. So I thought soccer yesterday was the winner.
Mm-hmm. Was it inspiring for you to watch the World Cup when it comes around every 4 years? Do you get inspired as a coach to watch all that?
It does, because that's the highest stage of soccer for us. Is putting all what every country has the best in their soccer. So for us, it's a great moment to learn, to see how the game has evolved, what is the new tendencies and all those things. So, but certainly it's inspiring.
Is the U.S. men's national team getting a little bit better or a lot better?
A lot better. And just that's many things that the people can notice now. That we have a strong league that is making a big contribution to the national team. Many players are not just being part of the MLS, have been part of the MLS. They are going to play in Europe. They are competing in a great teams in Europe. Now have such a great participation in the World Cup. It just made us proud and think that the soccer is going in a good direction. But once again, the participation has been great this year.
There were 22 MLS players in this year's World Cup. That has to be great for this league because the numbers are off the charts of how many people watch the World Cup. The fact that they're playing for the United States and now coming back here and playing in your league. How big a boost do you think that will be for the MLS?
It should be great. It should be good. And now going to make an example with other countries, especially in South America. The players in Argentina and Colombia and Brazil, normally these guys played in the local leagues, and the dream is going and playing in Europe. Mm-hmm. So I'd say 80-90% of the rosters of those teams, all of these players go and play in Europe. Mm-hmm. With the national team here in America has been happening the same. They say the best players are going to Europe, but now many of them want to come back to the MLS because the level of the league. And the players here, the local players who are competing, they went to the World Cup in Brazil and showed that the level is very good. So I think it's something that we need to remark and then highlight the level of the league right now.
George, do you know what Oscar's nickname is?
He was some sort of general or something? No, he was...
Yes. El Generalito, which is the little general, which means he's the second Dallas pro sports coach to have that nickname, because that was Avery Johnson's nickname.
That's right, the little general. Does anyone still call you that?
And in Colombia.
In Colombia they do.
More in Colombia.
Okay. We're going to start doing it around here.
There you go. That's a good start then.
All right, so whenever I think of Colombian soccer, I think of the story of the guy who had the own goal in the World Cup, I believe, and then he was killed like a few days later. Did you know that guy?
Yes, we were from the same class, the same town, the same neighborhood, and we grew up together, being 1968 born. So know him and pretty well.
How crazy was that story? And everybody looks at that and says, well, that's just how nuts they are for soccer in Colombia. But it's hard for us to imagine it ever getting to that point in any sport in this country.
Right. I think it's great that you asked me that, because it's a huge opportunity to put some clarity here, and that what happened, that was terrible. But everyone relate that own goal and well, he died after, and people is always talking that they killed him because of their own goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like that. It was just a consequence of something that it was happening in the country, with all this people betting and things like that, and the conflict of what happened inside of that bar. It was just a consequence of, as I said, of a generation of the moment of the country, but not specifically. It was because he made an own goal. It was related, obviously, and then the news grew around the world, because obviously the first thing that you think is if you get killed 2 days after, it was because somebody took a gun and come and say, well, you made an own goal and then
right.
You deserve to that. It was not like that. But it was difficult for our people and our country to clean that. It couldn't be worse. And
so
unfortunately,
he was in a bar a couple days later, and it was basically a bar fight?
Right. It was people who was fighting there, and then soccer get in the conversation,
mm-hmm.
and people get offended, and then it end up in that. But
yeah.
It was not because somebody was waiting for him, and that he made an own goal and it was waiting for him.
Yeah, it
was not like that.
When we hear the story or heard it over these years, we imagine a group of angry Colombian fans going to his house and upset over the own goal, but it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. I mean, with Andres, as much as it hurts still, and all the pain that created to all of us, the incident was totally different. But at the same time, I have to say that it was related to the excitement and the angriness that people had about the World Cup fail and all these things. But the good news is that all changed, and now we came to the World Cup in Brazil and show that not that we have a great soccer team, but we have a great country that has survived for a few years of chaos, and now we are in a stage that we want to show the world where we are.
This is the head coach of FC Dallas, Oscar Pareja, with us here on The Ticket. You have practice later today, so you're not going to be able to scout this, but we suggest you keep a scout around. We're going to take some PKs against a guy by the name of Brent Irwin, who is your director of soccer operations for FC Dallas, and he's a former goalie, right?
He's a former goalie, and you guys have to be aware of, we have cameras everywhere. I have two scouters.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look.
So if you see something good,
talent.
You may think we may get a call later in the day.
So you may stay longer and the complex than today.
Yeah, if you're interested in a 48-year-old that's never played soccer before, and maybe a guy who could contribute to your team, then I'm your guy.
Yeah. Well, this is a good factory here to make the things better. So.
I have an MLS question. Can I ask an MLS question?
Sure.
So if the listing agent changes the price and the square footage...
No,
that's real estate.
That's real estate MLS.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was getting confused while this realtor was talking soccer so much.
This is Major League Soccer.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That's a great Gordo, by the way.
I know.
It is. He will be kicking later today, too, which should be awesome.
You've got a couple of interesting matches coming up, the New England Revolution this weekend, and then Aston Villa next week. That's really cool to have
amazing.
A Premier League team coming over here.
It's amazing. I think people should know that. First, because Saturday is a great event for us. It's a very good game against New England on the 19th, Saturday. And then following on the 23rd, we have one of the most successful and prestigious teams, and all these teams in England coming in town, Aston Villa, with great players, and then they just hired one of the legends there in England as an assistant coach. So I thought it's a great opportunity. People should know it's a big event to have Villa here in town.
Well, it's a great place, great stadium, and the complex too. This is now a soccer complex here for kids. That must warm your heart to see. To try to get soccer to take a threshold in this country now that the youth programs are pretty remarkable here now compared to what they were 10, 20 years ago.
It is, and we are very proud, especially what we do here in FC Dallas has been growing immensely. We have here the 17 fields that are in a great shape, and you gotta come and stop by on the weekend and see all them full of kids playing in tournaments, and it's great. I'm born in a country that is sick of soccer, so we don't do nothing but soccer. Everybody just talks in the morning about it. Obviously, baseball and basketball, if we can reach some, but everything is soccer. When I bring my friends here, coaches and people who are involved with and the game for many years, and they see our complex and how much the game is growing in America, they get amazed. They say, "Well, we didn't know that this is happening, and it's happening here, and it's growing. It's growing. Soccer is growing, and we are very proud to be that church."
Well, George wants to show you his bicycle kick here during the commercial break.
Take a look at that.
We'll do that. But we can't thank you enough for stopping by this morning, Oscar. We really appreciate it.
It is an honor for us to have you here in the podcast, and it's an honor really to share your job. Thank you so much. I invite all the people to keep following and keep growing this sport in America.
Thank you. That's El Generalito, Oscar Pareja, the head coach of FC Dallas. We're at Toyota Stadium this morning.